All right. Hey, welcome back. Jeff and Allie, Wake Coaching Podcast. Super excited you're here today. What are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about what success looks like for a family, right? Like,
Yeah.
oof, that's a big
It's
one.
kind of a crazy thought, even right off the bat. You're like, success as a family. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's natural. It's okay. Most of us as parents, as families, you kind of always feel like you're failing.
Yeah,
I
like
think
you should be doing more.
I think no matter the age and stage of your children, you're like, if they're an infant or a newborn, you're like, I should be doing more. They should be further faster. They should be along, whatever. Like we have 7 kids aged 7 to 20. And so we've been through a whole full gamut of these moments where honestly, we probably have beat ourselves up over we should be doing better. We should be whatever.
The shoulds will kill you.
Piles of shoulds. You get like literally buried under a pile of should,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how to, elude, not be buried by should.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Well, so we're big believers in creating a vision and goals for your life.
Yeah.
Like we teach that to businesses all the time, but it's not something that we're all very used to doing for like our family. Like we might have it personally, like, hey, I want to make this much money or lose this weight or whatever, but like we're not many people sit down and create a vision and goals for their entire family.
You know what's strange? Like thinking about that, if we met with a business and they didn't have a set of like vision, mission, values, we'd be like, what are you even doing? Like, what are you even thinking?
Well, we all know we should have that
all
for a
should.
business.
If you don't have it for a business, you're like, what are you doing? But if you do have it for your family, people are like, what are you doing? It's an interesting thing, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you have clear vision, mission, values for your family? And that's the thing we talk about on a regular basis, that if, because of the cultural pressures, whether it's kids' friends or maybe even your own friends, or like, oh, my kids should be doing better, or hey, mom and dad, can we please? Like all of the pressure. What we've just realized is that if you don't define what success looks like for your family, someone else will. And that could be your kid. That could be your kid's friend. That could be your kid's friend's parent. That could be your parents. That could be your neighbors. It could be. Bottom line is, if you're not willing to step up and define success, someone else will when you default back to a secondary position.
Yeah. I mean, we're
harsh,
all exposed
but
to
true.
so many voices and influences each and every day. And so we're just going to get really swayed by, these voices on, oh, I feel like I should be doing this. I feel like we should, do that. And we're just kind of swayed by the wind a little bit. And
100%.
so many of us approach our family just kind of by default. Like we just let life happen and things unfold. And we might have goals around, like we talked about, financial goals around income, a certain house that we want to buy. Like those are common things that we see with people, maybe number of kids that you want to have. But we often don't really dig deeper into like what is the culture of our home that we want to create, or what are our core values as a family, or what's really important to us when it comes to education, or what are like some of the main life principles that we want to instill in our children that will serve them for their entire life. Like those things, like kind of the philosophies around how we do life, and being really proactive and like designing those things. That's often not really something we think about or focus on. We just let the busyness of life kind of happen, and then that is what shapes the culture of our family.
Well, I think that's the tyranny of the urgent, right? Or the tyranny of your child at that point. Because if you're not intentional, you are creating little tyrants as opposed to well-adjusted, adapted human beings. And so it's interesting because when we talk about this idea, like a vision of what success looks like, I know oftentimes it's like you're just, as you're talking about how like just what life is like and how challenging it is as a parent, there's the ice cream that we talk about called Exhausted Parent. Like there's literally one of Allie's favorite ice creams, and it's actually quite delicious. But it literally, I was like, man, we need some Exhausted Parent right now. Because it feels like that is so much of what life is. Like, oh my gosh, you're just exhausted because we're going, go, 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 go all the time. And life itself has gotten so much more complicated. I'm 48. I'm a Gen Xer. Woohoo. Like I was born before the internet, and that will never happen again. And so, but I think about that. Like I think about my childhood was so much different than my kids' childhoods. Like I grew up on my bike. I was with the neighbor kids all the time. My parents most often didn't know where I was. There was one single rule, like when the street lights are on, I need to be home. That was it, right? And it was obviously as the sun went up or down, like that varied in how long I could stay out and play. That was basically my childhood. Traveling sports were not a thing. And nowadays we have traveling sports and we have devices that can keep us up all hours of the night, excuse me. It's kind of crazy to think about how it's changed, but yet I don't know that parenting approaches have changed that much, except for you're probably more like the helicopter parent was kind of brought in. You're just so much more hovering over what's happening in every single detail of your kid's life. Conversely, my parents had no clue what I was doing most of the time. And most of the time it was good stuff. It's just
I think
interesting.
they've changed like generation to generation,
Yes.
like based upon really big cultural influences. But I think the way that we lead our families in like being really intentional, like we're not doing that. Like it's not a culture to really intentionally set your culture for
100%.
your family.
Well, and I think that's what we talk about on a lot. Maybe you've heard us before. We talk about the idea of like living by design over default. And the idea is if you're not willing to design your life, someone else will for you, the culture around you, your kids, whatnot. And I do think like what you just said, Ali, the idea about like it's generational. I think we could throw our hands up in the air and be like, oh my gosh, it's just too hard, like the generation, the cultural pressures. But ultimately, who loses in that? Like we do as a family when we just give in to the cultural pressures around us and we're like, yeah, you're 7, you need a cell phone. Sorry if your kid's 7 and have a cell phone. They shouldn't have one. I'm just saying, and I'm not sorry to say that. But like literally, like we just give into that or give into our kids' desires.
So let's talk about like how you actually practically do this a little bit.
Sure.
So we have set core values as a family.
Yes.
And our core values are kingdom first,
Kingdom first. Yep.
stewardship,
Yep.
and connection.
Connection.
And so when your kids are requesting things like to play a sport, to get a cell phone, whatever it is that they want to do, go on vacation with a friend, it's really hard to make all of these decisions all the time. You're like, oh, I don't know. Like, should I say yes? Should I say no? Like, you're trying to make all these big decisions all the time as a parent. And if you have no construct in which to make these decisions, it's challenging. It's maybe based on, how tired you are, overwhelmed you are in the moment. And it's a no or it's a yes because you just want to get it off your plate. And so having these core values has really helped us in answering those questions. Do they align with our core values? Kingdom first. We want our kids to actually be living for the kingdom of God and be serving Him before all things. And so
And that's based upon Jesus' words, like seek
Yeah.
first the kingdom of God
Yep.
and everything else will be added after that.
Yep.
So often we invert that, right? We go after everything else and then we realize, oh, I might need some religion in my life. It's not about religion, it's about relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you figure that piece out first, everything else is going to work because as Jesus said as well, you could gain the whole world but lose your soul.
Yep.
So, okay, invert it. Okay, what we got to do first is focus on our soul, kingdom first, and then the world, whatever comes second, the success that we feel in our work life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So every decision that we're making, we're asking, does it align with these 3 values? Does it help them serve the kingdom? Is it teaching them to be good stewards of the things that they have? And does it create real relationship and connection? So that's where we would recommend starting first is just creating those core values and beginning to make decisions based upon family core values.
So, a small call to action here. If you are watching this, you think about your family and your kids. If someone were to ask you, what are the 3 core values, the 3 things that if you're intentional about, or if you got squished, what would come out? What's at your very core? Is it kingdom first? For us, it is. Is it stewardship, like how you do anything is how you do everything? And is it connection? Is it relationship? And so I encourage you, call to action right now. When we're done, push pause, write those down. What are the 3 things that you want to be known for, that you want your kids to live according to, and also that you're making decisions based upon? So that's what we think success looks like as a family. So, hey, Jeff and Allie, Wake, what are we?
Wake coaching.
We're Wake Coaching. So glad you joined us today.